Good morning, wherever you're from. Today I would like to talk about, the most common topic of all, I think, what light worker is. Whichever part of your journey you are in your spiritual path, I guess we all at some point of time want to really know whether you're really being a light worker. And we all have different definitions of what a light worker is, though we have a basic outline of it that you are spiritually, you have a mission, you're awakened spiritually, and you have a purpose, and you're supposed to do something with that purpose. And whether it be for self-development, spiritual development, or to serve others. Now, the most open way of describing this as to what a light worker is, I would say, there's just one short line that describes it, and that is to basically raise the vibrations in this dimension. That is what a light worker is. Your individual journey in spiritual world, in spirituality, is your own, I would say, learning curve as to what you do with it is where you are defined as a light worker. So there are a lot of things that people tend to misunderstand when it comes to, defining what a light worker is. A light worker is someone who is able to understand that they have a light within them, a light of the soul, which can be used to positively influence the environment around you, the dimension at large, the people around you, the people you don't know, and yourself. So there are a lot of things that you affect as a light worker. And so I would say that there are different kinds of missions too for some light workers, depending on which level of evolution you are in as a soul. For some of us, we are here to basically learn about our own gifts, develop your own gifts. And then you go to the next level in your spiritual path, which does not limit you to yourself to just one or two incarnations. I'm talking about it possibly going to as many incarnations as it takes for you to get from one point to the other in your spiritual path. But you need to understand that the first thing that you always do is we try to remember how to use our gifts. See, these gifts, every spiritual gift that we have, it's always been inside of you. As a soul, you've always had these gifts inside of you. It's as common as having your other physical senses. Every spirit has the same gifts. Okay? Now what we're trying to do basically here when we talk about spiritual awakening is you're awakening to realizing that you have these gifts in this dimension. And in this dimension, you're remembering how to use them, the application of these particular gifts that have been inside you. You need to remember how to use it. It's like you're wearing the first knight's armor. The first time you wear a knight's armor, you're not very comfortable. All right? You're fine fighting just as you are, but when you have to wear a heavy armor on you, that is pretty much what this body is like. You have to wear this body on you to go out there and do your thing. So to be able to apply your gifts through this body, it is like using your armor for the first time. You need to learn how to function. It's like wearing an astronaut suit. They probably go through months of training to learn how to do their job while inside that suit before they are sent out to space to do their job there. So this is pretty much how it is for spiritual gifts as well. You already knew about these gifts since creation because it's been a natural part of your being. But to be able to use them in a dimension like this, it takes practice. All right? So you need to first remember, you're not here to learn about your gifts. So that is why I keep telling you that when you talk about having a guru is only supposed to be like a stepping stone. He should not travel with you throughout your journey unless there is some kind of soul contract which intends that you should. The other thing that I want to talk about is when it comes to, I don't want to wander away from the main topic. The reason why I want to talk about the light worker is I feel that at this point in our world there have been a lot of issues. More issues now than there have been 15, 20 years ago. Everything from sexual abuse to politics to a lot of things that are, that we would love to avoid. Because we know deep inside that it reduces your vibration. You know that it affects you emotionally. But again, we're here as light workers. Now, our work as light workers is not to shun away from all of that. But that does not mean that you bring it all inside you and you start to take that burden and you move along with that burden. You're not here to do that either. But you need to approach every subject that comes your way, every issue that comes your way that affects the environment. It is our responsibility as light workers to acknowledge that that problem exists. To acknowledge does not necessarily mean that you go out there and, protest against something, or you try to create some kind of, I don't know how you say it, to bring it into some kind of active mode, that you are doing something actively. It also means that you could pray for that situation. If you're not happy about something, you can pray for it, you can offer healing, you can bring it to the awareness of a collective group of light workers who can also do the same. There are some groups on Facebook that I noticed. I was actually having a discussion with a few admins of a very large group on Facebook about this, where they were talking about how difficult it is to have to control some people in their particular group who are always looking at things negatively. Like if you someone puts pictures of some kind of major controversy. Like, for instance, recently I put up a post about smartphones and how the collection of cobalt for smartphones in Congo is actually, it's actually affecting a lot of families there, a lot of young children, because children are used as workers to collect this cobalt and from these mines, and it's really a very hard life for them. So by raising the awareness that they're collecting this for smartphones around the world, it does not mean we stop using smartphones. You're not supposed to be feeling guilty because you're using a smartphone, because half the time none of us are aware that such things were happening, and this is to bring in awareness. And you never know, one of us may have enough skills to actually create an alternative, to using cell phones, to using cobalt. You never know. So the reason why I feel that issues should not be, avoided. If there is a political situation, it doesn't mean that you go out there and, as a light worker, you feel responsible and you go out there and stand along protesters trying to make a difference. That could also be part of it. If you feel led to do so, please do so. But that is not all that can be done. That is not all that can be done. So let's not shun away from reality. Because spirituality is supposed to bring you closer to life, deeper into life, understanding the depths of life. To raise the vibration in a dimension, you need to get your feet and hands dirty. You can't expect to isolate yourself from the rest of the world and their problems. If that was meant to be, then God would have probably created an entire continent just for light workers and put all of us there, and the rest of the world can do whatever they want. That is not how it's supposed to be. One of the main reasons that most of us light workers feel lonely and don't feel like we have anyone around us who we can immediately talk to, is because we are all strategically placed in between people who need light. You get the point? The reason why we should be grateful we have the internet to even sit here and talk this way, because that brings us together. That is where we connect. But our mission here in this dimension is to raise the vibration wherever you are. So if you're going to isolate yourself from people, situations, environments, controversies, you are not even serving your purpose here. You're not even doing your job. You don't have to go out there and fight it out, physically or mentally. You are here to even do little things like pray, like ask for healing, like gather more people. You have the means of doing so because there's a lot of, there are channels like the internet, like right now. You can ask people to post. I don't have any issues if people want to post something about abused animals, as long as they're not enforcing an idea, like following a particular diet. As long as you're not enforcing someone to follow your way, it's perfectly fine, because you're asking for help. You're bringing something to an awareness of a group of light workers, saying that these people need help, these children need help, this situation needs prayed over. So that is what we need to do as light workers. If you're wondering what your purpose is, you don't have to go out there as a light worker and do major stuff. Okay? Every little responsibility that we're given as light workers is based on the evolution, how far you've evolved, how much you can deal with. It doesn't get easier as you evolve. As you move up the spiritual ladder, your challenges get bigger. Your responsibilities get bigger. You're given bigger roles to play. So just just start off small. Don't be too busy. Don't be too enthusiastic to, jump and bounce and go to the 5th level or 10th level. That's not what matters. What matters is that you are important to this dimension at this point. Your prayers are important, no matter how immature you feel your talents are, your gifts are, how early you are in your stage of evolution. It does not matter, because each one of us belongs to the same light of consciousness, and we have as much efficiency. It is just that we're all learning. We all had to start somewhere to be where we are at a later point in life. So every single one of us is important. If you feel strongly about some issue, and you feel there are people out there who need prayers, you feel that a situation can be made better in our life to raise our vibration, please put it forward. Don't be afraid of negative people who say, I don't want to read this, I don't want to read that, that is so much of violence in that, there is so much of gore in this. You know what? If you don't face all of that and you're going to sit around in some place like the Himalayas, I don't even think that serves the purpose anymore of you being a light worker. Or me, if I ever feel that I don't want to see any of the things that are happening in this world, it doesn't mean that I am even serving my purpose anymore. I want to be right in the middle of everything. I want to be there to make a difference. I'm not going to isolate myself. So that's what a light worker is. If you're feeling lonely, if you feel like you're all alone and there's no one else around you to understand what you're going through spiritually, just remember one thing. You and I are here on a mission. We're not here to make friends. We want to make friends with people who are like-minded. You got access to the internet. Use the channels that you have. But your purpose as a light worker is to be here on a mission to help raise the vibration of this dimension. There are a lot of souls out there who need the light and they don't know where to go. And your light only comes through if you understand your own purpose, and if you're well aware that you're not denying yourself of the truth, then your light will shine through, and that will inspire others to look for their own light. God bless you. I hope you love the message. Good night. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.